What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. The Republican Party has some pretty interesting conservative values that I think a lot of the African American community can agree with, especially when it comes to at least this campaign, migration, the migrant crisis, amongst other things, especially with the LGBTQ thing going on and family values. But the problem is, as Brother Marcel Dixon pointed out, the bigotry that is aligned with Republicans and some of their alt-right membership are guys who flirt around on that tangent. And then it goes unchecked, you know? So when you get somebody like Donald Trump that says something like, what do you have to lose? And then you have guys like Myron from Fresh and Fit, Sneeko. You have those people who are, Sharika Souls, Candace Owens, and they just say some of the most offensive things to about black people. And then you see all these Caucasians that are liking the post and commenting and agreeing with them. It makes black folks say, yo, let me stay Democrat. Right? And this is one of the things that Mr. Marcel Dixon said.
I even think they're comparable.
Let me say this, though. The truth of the matter is a large swath of America, I'll say even a majority of Americans, are tuned out of these spaces. So what we really have are Americans who are politically active, who are politically engaged, who go to their echo chambers. You got the echo chamber on the left and the echo chamber on the right. And let me tell you why sometimes it seems, but I'm telling y'all, it's a myth that Black Americans, by and large, are somehow represented well or adherents of the left. It's because spaces on the right, Malcolm X said that the white liberal had mastered the art of pretending to be the friend. So we don't get the blatant anti-blackness on the left. Oh, it's there. Look at our communities and look at who we've been voting for the past 60 years. That's the anti-blackness. But on the right, we get the baby mama, baby daddy stereotypes. We get the y'all have failed to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. We get the reparations. We get all that nastiness coming from the right. So when you have black people who are politically engaged, they're going to go to the side that just seems to be the less hostile, even though that side is actually even more hostile because they're supposed to be representing you with policies, but instead they just give you a symbolic representation, a few symbolic victories. They may give a black person a job like Ketanji Jackson Brown. That's supposed to somehow lift off 55 million of us, do something for us, and it doesn't. So that's why sometimes we have this misconception that Black Americans, by and large, are lefties, which I'm telling y'all, if anyone actually is in Black
Marcel, we're conservatives at home, but Democrats at the ballot box. It's been this way for a long time.
Largely conservative. The problem is, and I've been to MAGA rallies, I've been to American Patriot rallies, and one thing I appreciate about those spaces are two things. One, they are willing to have intellectual discourse. When I mention reparations, they don't throw tomatoes and walk out. They sit there and we have those conversations. Two, they acknowledge that the white conservatives and the non-black conservatives, but even black conservatives, and they have allowed bigots to feel too comfortable saying that they represent the white right or that they represent conservatism. There has been an unfortunate conflation of being conservative and being on the right with bigotry.
One of those biggest is Just Pearly things. Now, she's also had a problem with the white-black dynamic. It's always been an issue for her. And this was pointed out when she had a conversation with Sarah Garvey.
You think that historical catastrophes must be compensated for?
No.
No.
That's stupid.
So then, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
Yeah.
So then, how come there were groups of people that got compensation then?
How come?
For instance, like Jewish people, Chinese people, Japanese people with the bombs. Like there were groups of people who got compensated.
I don't know.
So it wasn't fair.
What? Well, I'm talking about like when I think about group, I think about reparations. So I mean, maybe if the people were still alive today, like I don't know, maybe. But Like when you said historical, I thought you meant like at the past, not the present.
Yeah, so like in the past, so like people talk about slavery. So in the past, you know, the Holocaust happened. In the past, you know, the Japanese, but people got compensated for it.
Yeah.
There's a book, right, called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. And when you read that book, you realize that the whole Industrial Revolution and stuff like that was started because of the colonization. And you just think, well, if you didn't do that, then you wouldn't be as successful.
So what do you mean by the colonization?
So the colonization of Africa, so both the people and the resources, right? There's a direct correlation between the colonization of Africa and the Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
And so with all the metals and the rubber and all this kind of stuff coming from Africa, it fueled the Industrial Revolution of the West.
Wait, so you're saying like in Africa, when you say colonize, you're saying like did England come in and colonize?
Yeah, like so European, France, Spain, Portugal, England.
And they like enslaved Africans, and that's what you're saying. Okay.
So they enslaved and at least colonized the continent.
Okay.
So when you colonize a continent and then you take ownership of the resources, you're able to gather those resources together and use them to your own benefit.
Right.
And so you gather those resources, use them to your own benefit, and build up your economy, all the while messing up the economy of that actual country.
So then let's talk about this post that Brother Tariq Nasheed shared. Why do black women hate white women so much? First of all, I mean, I don't know why that's a conversation starter. Nothing good can come out of such a post, but it is a post for somebody to put up that's very immature and stupid. But all you would have to do, if somebody dislikes white people as a black person, or why there is a level of distrust, you do know the history of America, right? And again, we don't even have to go into the commentary about what's underneath the post because it's unnecessary. Let me tell you why it's unnecessary. Because the unaccountability in this statement is why you will never get more than 85% or 15% rather on the other end of blacks joining the Republican Party. This is why. Because these are some of the biggest voices amongst, let me just say, the Caucasian youth when it comes to being conservatives. You even have some of these people who are anti-black, but they're black themselves, like Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit. It's like, why do blacks have a problem with whites? And then there's also, well, why are you blacks not doing very well? Why don't you pick yourself up from your bootstraps? And again, I can understand that blacks can take accountability, but then also, how can you say that knowing what happened in our community, as if we should get over that? Like, oh, you guys, why do you have a problem with whites so much? I just think that such conversation doesn't make any sense, but it's only there to catalyze destructive arguments and to cause chaos. And unfortunately, with Elon Musk, X is the greatest place to cause such chaos, which we all know what Elon Musk is. Elon Musk is also a Trump supporter. And you have many blacks who want to support Trump. I would support Trump because Joe Biden is so bad and liberals are so bad. We know they hate us indirectly. This, we see it clear, but the policies that Republicans have are better. Like, where do liberals stand on reparations? What about our HBCUs? At least Trump was willing to talk about funding for that. I'd rather deal with somebody who dislikes me than someone who acts like they like me and really hate me. But also, that's me personally. A lot of black people are voting for Trump this time around, but want nothing to do with the Pearl Davises, want nothing to do with the Andrew Tates, want nothing to do with InfoWars and all of these other guys who realistically have a really big attitude and a certain level of chagrin towards African Americans. And then these are the same content creators when you get kicked off of platforms like Instagram, you get kicked off YouTube, then you're talking about somebody is suppressing your free speech. Well, is this free speech? Is it? And even if it is free speech, because there's not really a lot of hatred in this commentary here, this question, right? But let me ask you a question. What do you expect would come out of such a conversation? As an adult, as a functioning adult, what do you feel can come out of this? I want to know. What can come out of this? And then again, we come to see some of these repetitive things, and at the same time, when Republicans in this time around, they have a charismatic candidate in Donald Trump. They won't have a charismatic candidate in 2028. They won't. Okay, Donald Trump won't be able to run again. They will have somebody that's going to be boring, somebody that can't galvanize the public, somebody that can't relate. And I will give the Republican Party a little bit of just due. They're trying to be a little bit more competitive for what they believe that blacks want. I mean, you see the Amber Rose dig, you know, they're trying to get people over there that have some ties to the community, that can relate to the black community, you know, unlike Candace Owens, who has no relation to the black community. They're at least trying to market to the African-American community, but it's going to be nullified with this sort of level of bigotry. So if Republicans cannot get it right and improve their marketing perspective for 2028, you're going to see another Democratic president in the future. Now, I'm just saying it doesn't have to be the black vote, right? But here's what you're going to also see. At a certain point, these creators are going to stop bothering blacks. And these creators are going to come after Latinos, because blacks won't be an easy group. It's moving on to bigger things now, right? These people are going to come after the Latino community, which are the biggest minority in the country. So what do you say then when Latinos and Caucasians start getting into it? Because that's going to happen. Because at a certain point, blacks are not going to be somebody that you even need to talk about, right? You guys are bringing all these Latino immigrants in, so you're going to have problems with Latinos coming for your resources. So all of that is going to change towards this. Then what are you going to do? Because that's inevitable. The Caucasian versus the Latino debates, that's going to be happening very soon. And those on the side of the alt-right and the whites are going to take their frustrations towards Latino voters. The only problem is that they're going to be citizens. So then what do you say then? And that's why if Republicans don't check it, then now it's about marketing to the Latino community, especially in states that are swing states like Texas, which almost went blue last election. It wasn't just an alt white or right win. A lot of Hispanics in Texas. So they got to figure these things out. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, El Shady Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.